2012, one couple moved into a new home. The events that followed have never been explained.
How could someone so cute be so stink? Ah!
How far are you gonna go to get this demon out?
I'll do anything. What is this supposed to do?
This just got weird.
Well, thank you very much for coming on Flick Nation, man. It's great.
Thanks for having me. You're about the only people that would have me. Everybody else told me, oh, hell no. If it ain't Keenan or Damon, don't bring that Wayans to my house.
The movie is a lot of fun,
Thank
and
you.
I love the Paranormal Activity movies. I didn't realize there was so much to parody until, but that's what a great parody does. Is I'm watching this, going, oh yeah, of course.
Yeah.
You know.
Why didn't I see that moment?
Yeah, exactly.
You know what's funny about the movie is I think it's not a parody in the sense that it's just a horror comedy, and it's basically Paranormal Activity if it happened to a black couple. It's how would we respond in that situation, and then we bring a host of other funny characters in, and it's really a relationship movie. A girl moves into a guy's house and she brings a ghost with her, and the ghost acts like another man, and it's the battle between the guy and the ghost for the girl. And and it's just a fun, like, cat and mouse kind of thing, and it goes to very weird, crazy places.
Indeed, it does.
We definitely earned the R. Yeah.
And I appreciate that. That's good.
It should have been NC-17, but yeah.
You gonna have the unrated cut on Blu-ray?
Can you get any more unrated?
I don't know, man. I don't know.
This is gonna be a piece of poop, just like
Well, I mean, the paranormal thing is definitely a hallmark of the structure here, you know what I mean? And I just thought, they're continuing to make those. And again, I'm a fan. They're low budget, they're gritty, they're creepy, they're great to see in theaters. But I just thought, I walked out of this theater and I thought, the producers of this, they're going to take a look at your movie and go, shit.
You ruined my franchise because you can't take it. Well, I think what happens is on the fourth one, you kind of stop taking it serious. When they start getting bad, the fourth one wasn't as good as the third and the second and the first. The fourth one, it felt like they were trying something different and trying a little bit too hard, whereas the other ones, you actually was scared and it was more believable and grittier. I think they tried to go for a teen girl this time, make her blonde, and you kind of messed it up, because you really invested in the kind of chubby, middle-aged girl, with the big breasts, and you was like, you know what, she seems like I'd bang her. She wasn't super hot, but she was like, I'd bang her at 4 o'clock in the morning.
She's off screen, and you're like, bring her back.
Yeah, I miss that girl walking around her guy's boxers with big breasts. Bring her back. And the little cherub belly. I like that. Like, it's like that old school 1938 stripper body.
There you go. See, I couldn't put my finger on the appeal. That's what it is.
I've studied these movies.
In terms of the structure and setting it up, it seems like there's a structure to a scene, a beginning, middle, and end, but there's a lot of wiggle room in there for improv. Is that how you like to work?
Yeah, there's definitely a beginning, middle, and end. There's an intention and there's an obstacle. And then however you go about getting that, that's on you. But in the structure, you know where it's going to end, you know where it's going to begin, you know where we want to peak. Now, everything else is yours. Enjoy. It's like going, okay, here's the 4 walls. Here's the floors I want you to put in, and the door is going to go here. You could paint this any color you want. You could put any furniture. If you want monkey skin carpet, go for it. This is yours to play with. And the actors came in and just like, are you sure about this? And I was like, yeah. And then Cedric and Nick and David just went about painting it all kind of crazy colors.
Oh, they did.
They did.
And it was great just giving him that much
You didn't know what Swartzen was going to say. Him and Cedric, you had no idea. It was just like, and I got to stay in the scene and not laugh. That was the hard part for me.
Right.
Yeah.
How much do you usually shoot in a given situation like that? I mean, do you just go for miles, or do you reach a point where you just go, all right, we've got enough?
I don't stop until they look at camera and go, is that enough? And then I go, okay, it's done.
I bet your editor really appreciates that.
We drove her crazy. I think she committed suicide a couple of days ago.
Wow.
If she didn't, I think her spirit did, or her hands did. We drove people crazy. We had 60-something hours of footage, and we shot for 21 days. To have that much footage, that many hours of footage, it was crazy.
Nice.
Yeah.
I'd like to shift over and talk about Richard Pryor.
Go for it.
Because I got to tell you, when this is one of those projects that they mention every few years.
Yeah.
There's a biopic.
And
you always heard about how Eddie Murphy was going to play Richard Pryor. And I thought, okay, well, that's, okay, I can see that because, he does a pretty good impersonation. But when I heard you were going to play Richard Pryor, I thought, now that's inspired.
Yeah.
Because I loved you in Requiem for a Dream.
Thank you.
I'm fascinated by comedians doing dramatic work. I think there's a tremendous leap of faith when that happens, and you get some great, great work. It's hard to be funny. It's, I think, harder to channel that into a different...
It's actually harder to be funny. It's easier to be dramatic. Because with comedy, there's a lot that goes into being funny. Like, you have to really be on your feet. There's a certain energy. There's a certain math and science that you got to do real quick. You're like a computer, like, okay, boom. Here's how, you just go, how'd you come up with that? And because you're on your feet and you're like a mad scientist in your head, and you're so desperate, and there's just this tone, this thing that you got to do, and this magic that and it got to happen right then and there in the moment. With drama, all I got to do is be, and just be honest. And with comedy, we're comedians, we're just honest anyway. And so therefore it's easier for us to do drama. It's harder for anybody to do comedy. Comedy is the hardest thing you'll ever do. Now, doing a drama about a comedian, for me, is perfect, because that's why I love Richard Pryor, the movie, so much, because it's a tragedy, because it's really a tragedy about the greatest comedian ever. And it's a brilliant story, and he had a brilliant life, and I would love to play it. And I think I've been doing stand-up the last two and a half years, going on the road every weekend, literally, to learn the art of stand-up comedy, because I never did stand-up really before this. And so I'm doing the greatest method acting ever. All I need is, marry a couple of white women and smoke some crack, and I'll be ready for it.
You might want to leave out the light yourself on fire part.
That's when method goes wrong.
But
the crack,
I
can live through crack. That's just a high. 5 minutes, I'm in, I'm out.
You wouldn't be the first actor to,
exactly. Shit happens. But the reality is, I don't know if the movies that are happening right now, but I look at it as a blessing from God, because I want to be prepared for that moment. And so the longer it takes to make that movie, the better for me, because I'll be so prepared. I've read 7 books on the man. I'm learning stand-up on so many different levels. I'm trying to get to the place in terms of my stand-up where I'm playing arenas. So I know what that kind of superstardom is, so that I can really, and it's literally just for the journey of Richard Pryor.
I'm exhausted talking to you. Where do you find this energy? I mean, you're so driven to do so many different things.
No idea. My mother said, if I could bottle you, she's like, if your father had your energy, we'd have 1,000 kids. I'm like, Mom, you do.
What's next for you?
Oh, everything. I got a show that I'm producing for my nephews called Second Generation Wayans for BET. That's airing on the 15th of January, and we have 10 episodes there. I got a show for ABC I'm writing about, based on my life. It's basically, I have 2 children, and I'm the most inappropriate dad ever. And so I'm writing that while I'm doing this promo tour, and then this comes out January 11th. I got some reality shows that I got set up, so I'm gonna be a busy man. And I'm on tour every weekend doing stand-up somewhere, some city, somehow.
And you wouldn't have it any other way.
I'm a beast. I love it.
Awesome. Marlon, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Best of luck with the film.
Thank you, bro.